a podcast by Neutral Voices Media Group. In the Know.
Welcome to In the Know. It is myself and E. Fikes, and we have a special guest in the building. Some of y'all might know him, but we're going to not talk about the building. We're going to talk about the organization, and we're going to get into this conversation. This is Mr. Jesse Booker.
Good
Mr.
evening.
Booker, tell us who you're with.
I am with the Department of Indiana, the American Legion, and I am the district commander of the 4th District.
Okay. All right. Now, the American Legion. Now, you know, we all know what the Legion is. We all know that's where we go to party. We go on Lewis and Hannah, and we have a good old time. But tell us the actual purpose and the relevance of the American Legion.
American Legion is the service for our veterans, okay? So that's the purpose right there, you know. We got a lot of programs and a lot of services for the veterans, you know. They need to come in, they need to be members, they need to be active. And like I say, the American Legion, it's not just a partying place, you know. It's not a bar for just us to go in and have drinks and everything else. I mean, you can do that, but we're there to service the veterans. We are the American Legion is the strongest, the most supportive organization for the military veterans, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay, now how big is the American Legion? That's a national organization, correct?
Yeah, the American Legion nationally, you're probably talking about 2.9 million. You know, you got a lot in the American Legion. In the state of Indiana, the American Legion, we're talking about maybe 6,300, 63,000, American Legion veterans and everything here. In the district here, I'm in charge. I've got 7,000 in the 4th District, and we have a little over 370 posts throughout the state of Indiana.
Okay.
And I just came back from the convention. You know, it was in Indianapolis, Department of Indiana, American Legion. We had the convention this week. It was awesome. You know, we had a lot of awards going to the different posts in the 4th District and everything else. We have a post here. It's post number 47. And it is the 3rd largest post in the state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's over on Reed Road, right off Lake Avenue.
That sits back down in the...
Yeah, it sits back.
Yep.
It used to be the old Knights of Columbia.
Yep.
But anyway, it's back down there. And they have over 800 members down there.
Oh, wow.
Over 800,
Wow.
So it's really nice, okay. We have all the other posts. You know, we had a significant number of posts in the 4th District that received over 105% in membership growth, okay?
Oh, wow.
They had about 6 or 7 posts,
That's good. That's good.
we're on the move in the 4th District.
Well, that's good. Now tell us, how do one become a member of the American Legion?
Well, once you get out of service and everything else, they're going to issue a DD 214, okay? So you need to pick your post out, we would be more than happy to have any new members at 148. We need members down there, okay? Right now at 148, we have about 260-something members, okay? So we're growing and everything else, but to become a member down there, just bring your DD 214 in. It has to be an honorable discharge, so or other, anything other than a dishonorable discharge. Okay? So you can easily become a member down there, and all we want you to do is come in and just give us a hand. Let's go to work and get things moving.
I got you there.
Now, my question is, what do the Legion do for the community as far as community outreach or book bags or food giveaways?
Oh man, this Legion down here on Lewis Street, 705 East Lewis, American Legion 148, the Charles C. Anderson Post, they give away a lot. They do. They got a number of programs. They got a day of caring and everything else. And I think that was like a week or so ago and everything else. Next week they're going to be doing the out in the parking lot. They got the clothes drive and everything else. It's what they're giving away any type of clothing that you need and everything. The auxiliary is doing that and everything else. They got their parking lot, sale and everything else. We're giving away the backpacks and everything else, going back to school and all like that. They give away a lot of scholarships and everything else. If you are in trouble and you need assistance, from the American Legion, all you got to do, you can fill out the forms and everything else for child education, welfare, and everything. You can have the temporary monetary relief programs and everything else. It's a lot, that the American Legion is doing. They provide and everything else. They got many, many, many programs, and they provide a lot,
Yeah, that's enlightening because, like I say, growing up, and you couldn't wait till you hit 21 to go to the Legion because, like I say, everybody sees it as the party spot, but I had no idea they had that much that's going into it. Now, for the veterans, what program overall, or how does the American Legion help and support veterans?
They give out a lot of funds, for the veterans and everything else. You can go down there and get assistance and everything else. We can hook you up to the right agencies and everything else. They provide temporary housing. They give you monetary funds and everything else. It's just a lot of programs there for the veterans to go there. You just got to apply for them. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that goes to a question because you see a lot of these signs and panhandlers that have signs on the corner saying homeless or veteran. How would they be able to get help from or what would they need to do to be able to get help from the American Legion?
That's kind of interesting because, like I say, myself, why are you on the corner, okay? You need to go down there to the office, okay? You go downtown to the Allen County Veterans Service, the service officers. We got them all over, okay? You got service officers downtown at the Citizen Square. You got service officers at the VA hospitals and everything. All you need to go in and they're going to help you. They're going to, they're going to give you temporary housing. They're going to, they'll put you in hotels and everything else. They're going to give you money for food and everything else. Going to give you shelter. I can't understand why they're out there panhandling or doing this, but hey, if they feel they got to do it, then it's my own opinion and everything else. Hey, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, right. I understand.
that's
real. You can't say it no more realer than that.
Yeah, okay.
You can lead them to water. You can't make them drink.
Like I say, you can go downtown. You can go all these other places, and apply for assistance. And they're going to help you, especially if you're a veteran, okay? So I don't know. Maybe some of these people out there, I don't know. Maybe not veterans. But anyway, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna help anybody. Okay, I personally have put, families in hotels for a couple of nights out of my own pocket and everything else. So we're gonna take care of our vets. Okay,
that's good. That's good. Now, as a district commander, you just said you were sworn in as the 4th district commander. What is your duties or obligations?
Oh, boy, I tell you, I've been working on this for the last couple of weeks, I tell you, and my duties is to oversee the 4th District. And again, as I said, there's over, 7,000 veterans, and I have 30 posts that I have to oversee, all the way from the up north, Fremont, Angola, coming south, all the way down, past, Auburn, Fort Wayne, all the way down to Bern, Indiana, and all those posts will be under my command for this next fiscal.
That's
So
powerful too.
I have 29 posts plus one holding post, and that holding post is where members who are in don't know where they want to do. They're like in limbo, and they just join the Legion, but they're not assigned to a post.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into a holding post, which is 704 here in my district, and I will be in charge of that post also. I mean, as a commander, but we're going to get those people, and then we will outreach and assign them to different posts throughout the whole district.
Now, as a Legionnaire, once I'm assigned to a post, what are my responsibilities to that post?
Well, it depends on the individuals, okay? I mean, you can go in there and you can really go gun-ho, and you want to run for the post officers and everything. Yes, you can do that, okay? That's your post, okay?
Okay.
All right, long as you're a dues-paying member, we don't, you can't be denied, so, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do in that post as far as running for offices and everything else, and trying to, reconnect, redo that post, help out in any way possible, do membership programs, revitalizations, and everything else, help out where you can, where you fit in, okay?
Oh, man. No, I'm really, really getting something, So tell me, what is the difference between, because not only the Legion, we go to party at the Legion, but we go over on Winter Street, go to the VFW, we go out to Wayndale to the AMVETS. What is the difference between these organizations? And
well, the VFW, like I said, I guarantee you ain't going on Winter Street to the to the VFW, okay? But you can go to the VFW down on South Anthony Street or out on Bluffton Road, some other VFWs out on New Haven Avenue, out east and everything else. But the VFW is a little bit different from the American Legion. You're going to find a lot more members in the American Legion than you will ever find in the VFW. The VFW really stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars. Mm-hmm. And you need boots on the ground in foreign territories fighting and everything else. Okay. So that's really the biggest difference, and you have to, be in that situation, that area and everything else in order to be with the VFW versus the American Legion. You just got to be in the military, in the armed forces and everything, and to be a member of the American Legion with corrected or a DD 214 other than dishonorable.
Okay. All right. So that is again, that's something to know. E, you got something? Because I can talk to him all night.
Sure, we know that.
Like I said, you only got about 20.
I've enjoyed you, Mr. Booker.
Yeah, okay.
So you were saying when you got drafted.
I got drafted, right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You got drafted, and you was just, I mean, I know they just rebrought the draft back, and now I guess it's different the way they set it up or how they doing it versus when you got drafted.
Okay.
So when you got drafted, you was in college, right?
I was I had dropped out, and I had met a very beautiful woman and everything else, and we, had a child and everything else, was going to have a child. And I said, well, let's go ahead and let me try to get out of this service thing, okay, So that didn't work, okay. That didn't work at all, okay. So, like I say, heck, the child was born later and everything else, my son and everything. He's my oldest. I have two kids. I have a Jesse Jr. and I have a Adrian, and a boy and a girl. But like I say, heck, two wonderful kids. My wife had been married 54 years and everything else, But that draft back then, and I went in 1970, and They drafted me February the 1st. Okay, I went down to Indianapolis in December and everything. Right when I dropped out of college here in Fort Wayne, I had came from down in Arkansas, and I started going to St. Francis University. And at that time, it wasn't, kosher. It wasn't for me. Okay, so they had the sisters and everything, and the fathers and everything else. But like I say, that wasn't what I was going. So I dropped out and everything. I got a job at Slater Steels, and I was there for a couple months and everything else, and Uncle Sam came in, sent me a letter, says, we want you, and that was in November, December. I had to go down there to the Indianapolis. It was a group of us. A lot of my friends were with me, and we had a good time and everything else, but we went down on a bus and everything else. Some of them were shipped off from there. Okay?
Oh, wow.
I got the chance to come back. But when I came back and everything, and I said, well, let me see what I can do about getting out of this situation. So I started applying for hardships and everything else, and my wife, she's pregnant, baby wasn't born and everything else. But anyway, they deferred me. That's all they did. And they said, okay, we'll let you, we're going to give you a 2-month deferment. Okay. I said, okay. Took that. But I wasn't playing. I said, hey, I'm not. You're not going to get me. You're not going to put me in nothing. Okay. So I went. In April the 1st, like I say, April Fool's Day. I was in the summer. I was in the service and everything else. I did my basic training down in Fort Knox, Kentucky. It was 8 weeks and everything else. I think really after my second week down there, I was on leave every week after that because I was scoring all the perfect scores and everything else, and they reward you and let you go.
Oh, that's
leave.
good. That's good.
And then once I left Fort Knox, it was only 3 of us out of 150 that went to Augusta, Georgia, to MP school. And I was, one of the 3. It was me and another black guy and a white guy and everything. But it was only 3 of us that went to MP school in Fort Gordon, Augusta, And we stayed down there, did our AIT. I met a real good friend down there, and he was a baseball player, and he turned out to be a professional baseball player. His name was Buck Martinez, and he was a catcher for the Montreal and all that stuff. But we was down there, and I had to pull KP one day, and all of a sudden, man, they come in and the MPs and everything, they in a truck and everything. They said Buck Martinez, and they came and they wanted him, right, and we was there peeling potatoes and everything, setting out back.
So that's real.
This is real. This is real. And so, They came to get him to take him to practice at the baseball diamond. Okay, so he said, "Hey, we're not leaving my Booker." So but that's how I met Buck Martinez. Okay, but anyway, good. Then I went to, I did my 8 weeks training there and everything else, and then I went to, I came home for a month and everything else. And my paper stated that I go to Okinawa, Japan and everything else. But they changed my orders and everything else, and they sent me to, redirected to Würzburg, Germany. It was like 60 kilometers from Frankfurt and everything else. So I went over there, and I did my time over there. Heck, I was on I stayed off base and everything else. I had an apartment and everything else. It was stateside duty and everything else. So heck, But I really didn't want to go. And I wanted stateside in the United States and everything else. And I hate to say this, but I told my drill sergeant, I said, I ain't going. He said, Booker. I said, I like to have a whole battalion just like you. But hey, if you ain't going, I'll send your ass to jail. I'll send your ass. I said, okay. So, okay. All right. But then he the one that got my orders changed, and I got stateside over in Europe. So,
yeah, that's good. That's good.
But
now,
anyway.
being drafted, How long were you drafted for? What was the duration of a draft
Back then, the draft was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, I got drafted in 1970, and I stayed in till 72.
All right. Now, coming back, you get discharged honorably because you're in the
definitely.
Legion. So
I
honorably.
wasn't doing nothing. I had guys in there that went in with me, and they got drafted and everything else, and they was 8-10 years trying to get out. They in the stockades and everything. No, that ain't me. Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But what put you on a path to where you are in the American Legion? When did you first get into the Legion, and how did you work your way up?
Well, like I said, when I got back and everything else, I didn't right away join the Legion and everything else, but I heard about it, and I knew about it, everything else, What I did was, eventually I know, I had certain people approach me, and my mentors in the American Legion was Mr. Ike Johnson and Mr. Ferris Thomas. And Ferris Thomas was a postman, but Ike was he was down there, and he was the canteen manager and everything else, and they wanted me to come in. They put me on board and everything else, and they gave me some positions down there. I started with the treasurer of the Building Association, okay? And I kind of took Mr. Ferris Thomas' spot, and they trained me for it and everything. They did that. And I was down there for a couple of years, but when I came back from the service, I worked at Slater Steel as their accountant and everything else. I kind of moved up and everything else, and I was, a manager of accounting and everything else, so I could do all the financial statements and everything else, consolidation report, because that's what I was doing for Slater Steels, and I was traveling around, and I'd have to fly to Canada and everything. We had 7 companies over in, Canada, and so I had to, go up there and consolidate all the reports and everything else, bring back programs, Shaw Wire and everything else for payroll, just institute those programs into Slater Steel. And the thing about it, Slater Steel was the only company making money. Those plants up there in Canada, they were broke. They were making, but they controlled everything. So, But anyway, but they were our parent company and everything else. But so I did that, and I got back, with the American Legion. So I built the financial statements and everything else. We had options of actually building a new spot, trying to go after the Lynx Wonderland, that situation over there on Creighton and Anthony Street, or another spot was Sunset Hall down there off of South Hannah Street, across from the bowling alley down there. So, so there was like 3 groups and everything else, but eventually the group that wanted to just, build a new post and everything else, and that's what we got right now. They won out and everything. I think at the time Larry Taylor was the commander and everything, but he has since been deceased and everything else. But those guys, I tell you, that was a wonderful group to work with and everything else. We built that building and everything else. After that, I came more involved in the Legion and everything. And so I went on the other side of the Legion, because you got the Building Association, then you had the Legion, and then you have the Auxiliary and the Sons, and we had the Writers also. So we had a lot of different things going on.
All right.
And then I decided, well, hey, I might try to. I started running from different offices. I had all the offices in the Legion. I did, chaplain, finance. I did first vice, a lot of other different positions. Then I did commander, and I was their commander down there from 2005 to 2015. So I did a 10-year stint at the commanders. After when I left the commanders, that's when I joined the district. So I came in at the district level, and I worked my way up. The first year, I was a membership chairman. And we were number 1 in the state, okay?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And I was under Commander Jay Hillett. He's been deceased right now, but we won a lot of awards and everything else. A lot of prizes and everything else. It was great. But we came in first in the state out of 11 districts, okay? And they haven't achieved that yet, again, but I am the commander this year. And we're gonna try to
change it.
We're gonna try to duplicate that. What happened in 2005?
I got you.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay.
But
I got a great group of officers and everything else that I'm working with and everything, and it's gonna be a good year, and we're just gonna just make it work for everybody. Okay?
yeah. But you were talking about finances. Let's talk about nuts and bolts, because the community, we do go to the Legion, and that's one of the few places that we can go gather anymore, because we don't have any clubs or any social places that for our community to gather anymore. How does our participation by supporting the Legion help the American Legion?
Well, the American Legion down there on Lewis and Hannah Street, you participate. It's going to be very beneficial for both of us, okay? Mm-hmm. And you go in there and you like I said, it's not just a thing of just going in and sitting around and drinking and everything else. Right. They got a lot of things going on. That auxiliary down there right now is amazing. I mean, they are really doing things. They're making it work. They're giving different like a garden party, or they're doing a lot of programs that's helping and beneficial to the Legion.
That's good.
Yeah. And like to give commanders balls and everything else, and that brings a lot of other posts from throughout the district coming in and everything else. I will be installed again this on August the 1st. I will be installed as the district commander at 148. Like to invite everybody down and everything else. And then on August the 17th, we will have a celebration, because they're saying, well, he's the first black, that ever done this.
So you making history.
Well, that's what they call it. But I'm going to be the first black district commander, okay? And they're going to have a celebration on August the 17th from 4 o'clock to 4 to 9.
Oh.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I don't know if you've been down there lately or whatever, but that Legion, if you went out back, you're going to have a patio out there. Then you're going to go out there on a wooden patio. Then you're going to drop down, go down a couple steps. And you got, I don't know, probably about, 40 feet or better, you got marble patio and everything else, So, and they have a lot out there, So it's going to be really nice, and we want everybody to come down and enjoy, and, just all celebrate and have a good time,
Yeah, that's a celebration. And congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. and I really thank you for, like I say, I've learned a lot, because, again, the community, all we hear about is you go to Legion on Friday, you go to Legion on Friday, it's Saturday, you go to karaoke on Sunday, but we get it caught up in the superficial, and we don't know the depths or the fullness of what the American Legion does.
But the thing of it is right now is that you might, I might go into Legion, and I might go in around maybe 5, somewhere in there and everything, and have a drink and everything. I might go back to play some cards or something, communicate with some of my friends and everything else, And then I might be out of there, 8, 9 o'clock, okay. But on the weekends, you got a different crowd coming in, okay. You're going to have the younger crowd's going to come in, and those are going to be paying. Those are the crowd, the people, the younger people that comes in that wants to party and everything else and have a good time and everything else, and they are willing to pay the price. They don't care what it costs to get in. If it was $10, $20 or whatever, they're going to pay to come in and everything else. They're going to pay to drink and everything else, buy their favorite drinks or whatever they want to do. But like I say, I probably won't be there. But
I feel you.
But like I say, that's what's happening out here, and that is the crowd that really supports and generates the revenue for the American Legion.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. But Mr. Booker, you told me I only had 20 minutes. I think my time coming to an end, because But I do want to thank you again for just the information, because and if a veteran, again, there's some veterans out there that just getting out. There's some that's falling on hard times. There's some that are in a difficult place right now. Look in the camera and give them some resources from the American Legion, or however they can get back on their feet to help them.
You need to go ahead and Go downtown. Let's talk to the service officers. That's what they're getting paid for. We got them all over the state, okay? You can go to Indianapolis, but you start right here in Fort Wayne. Go downtown to the VSOs at the at the county building downtown, Allen County, the city council building and everything. Stuff. Just go down there and talk to Joe Watson and his staff down there. You can go throughout any of the areas in the district and everything else, the state, where you want to do. But you can also go to the VA hospital and everything, talk to the VSOs and everything else, talk to the service officer out there. They got people set up there, they lined up and everything else, just waiting for you to come, You don't have to be out there on the streets, okay, believe me. All right. You can just go down there, talk to them, and tell them what you need, what you want. And if you got, certain disabilities and everything else, you can be service connected, Go ahead, apply, that's all you got to do. I mean, you go ahead, you out there on the street, but hell, you got hearing problems, you got a bad knee or whatever, hell. It happened in the service, or it may not have happened in the service, but it might have happened before you went to the service, but it was aggravated and everything else. So like I say, you go down there and you talk to these people, and you're service connected, and you'd be surprised. Had one friend went down there, probably about a month or so ago. Well, couple months, but anyway, he's got a letter back right now. And another lady and everything else. But they went down there and they done this stuff and everything. They filled out their paperwork and everything else, and they 80-90%. And you know what that means in dollars?
No.
It means in dollars like, $2,500, $3,000. Oh my God,
That's my thing.
That'll get you off the street.
That'll get you off the street.
That'll get you off the street.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah.
Again, we thank you, and as you say, even though they come on Friday and Saturday night, you are supporting a great cause. You are helping benefits and, continue to help the veterans. Again, we'll have you back. If you have something that the Legion is doing you want to promote, come back and talk to us, and we'll help you have you back. Right. Thank you again. But
can I just say one thing in
closing?
Say
whatever.
All right. One thing I want to do like I say, I am, again, the 4th District commander of the American Legion. We will be going to New Orleans August the 23rd through the 29th, and that's for the National Convention, and we will be advocating and implementing new programs and everything else, and we're up for the vets. That's all we can do. We're going to be there for the service and of our veterans, okay? We're going to take care of our vets, okay?
That's good. They need to be taken care of. All right. We want to thank you again for joining us. And E, before we leave the people, what do we say?
Always protect your mind.